Hey nerds, I'm Will Wheaton, and you're watching TrekCulture.
Hello everyone and welcome to this week's episode of What the Hell Just Happened in Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Before we go any further, you know the drill. Full spoiler effect. Full spoiler effect, full spoiler warning in effect? One of those things. Spoiler, 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 spoilery, spoilery, spoileroo. So yes, we will be discussing details, we will be discussing plot points. Anyone who has not seen the episode, who might be sitting in the same room as me right now and doesn't want it spoiled, would do well to put on headphones. Okay. Hello Tom, hello Ellie, how are you this week?
I'm feeling much more positive this week. I'm excited to talk about this one.
Ooh, one might consider that a spoiler. Ooh. Yes, I'm very interested to hear Tom as well.
I'm just surprised there was puppets again. Wasn't expecting that.
I did think that the use of puppets breaking out into song as well, while the lower decks crew walked through the background, it was a wild ride, absolutely a wild ride.
Yeah. We got
and
puppets.
Then it was all a dream had by Michael Burnham. Okay, now that we've lost 50% of the audience, right, who would like to go first this week?
Shall I go first? Because I went last time.
You did.
So, episode 6, Off Hours.
Ooh.
I thought it was fine. It wasn't a bad episode, it wasn't a wonderful episode. I thought there was some good bits in it. I thought there was some stuff that let it down. I wasn't over the moon. But I had an okay time. I'll start off with some of the positives, as I like to try and do now, so I don't turn everyone off me from the beginning. So I basically thought there was some cool set pieces in this episode. Slight issues with some of the story parts of what they're to do with, but we'll get to that. I thought do we even know what those things were? You know, when they were climbing on top of the ship and all those light things were going like bouncing off. What were those things? I don't know, but they looked cool, so I didn't mind.
I know neutrinos are like microscopic, but I sort of took them to be representations of the neutrinos that they're being all bombarded with all over the ship.
Yeah, it was just one of those things where I was like,
as space stuff because they were going really fast.
And I think that's what they wanted you to think. So, you know, I forgave that. I was like, this looks cool. I like the noises. I like what it looks like. Whatever. I like the set piece with all the stuff with Mbenga and Chapel. I thought that was really cool. The just everything from, you know, how it looked, the visuals of him being stuck with that table and then it slowly getting colder and colder. All that stuff I thought was done quite well. Scotty, always like Scotty. I think Scotty had some great stuff in this episode. I liked when he said "what" to Pelia, and I was like, I wrote down, that's how we all feel when Pelia speaks on this show. I thought that was great. And also there was some good emotional moments with him later on, with Pelia as well. At the very beginning, there was a line when they were like, oh, we've tried getting a hold of Pelia, but we can't. I was like, that's because she's not in this episode, as always. But then she was. Yeah, I got very...
They baited and switched it. Yes, I have stuff to say on that.
Yeah, so I was like, okay. And I found that she had more... I mean, she was still her classic self, but I found that she at least had more of a substance in this episode compared to other ones. Just for the audience, I have some issues with connection at the moment, so sometimes Sean and Ellie will freeze, but we're back. So, yes, those are probably my main things I liked in this episode. The rest of it was like, okay. There was, you know, the Chaplain and Mbenga argument at the beginning, I felt kind of came out of nowhere. It was something that happens a lot in this show where they need to start a thing to have that emotional thing in this episode so we have resolution from it. And I felt like the argument just went from 0 to 100 in like 2 minutes so we could have the resolution of that at the end. And I was like, okay, fine. And I I thought, like there's a bit where Spock and Alana like radiated, and Spock is like absolutely covered in radiation. So the first thing they do is go into a room full of loads of people and take their hazmat suits off. I was like, what? Like, you can forgive some stuff, but like, surely Star Trek is such like a. I mean, the whole element of Enterprise was them going to these decontamination rooms, and like they just go, "Here's all my radiation," as my face is melting.
And then do a reverse mind meld. Is that a thing we can do now? Just if you put your hand on me.
Well, I have thoughts on that too.
Okay. We'll get to that.
Okay, we'll get to that.
I think my main issue, and they're not so much issues, but the thing that made me not so much care about what was happening in this episode, is the age-old problem of this being a prequel. We know Spock's not going to die, so why pretend something might happen to him? We know Chapel and Mbenga aren't going to die because we've seen them in Star Trek, the original series. Unless they're going to do something where they're going to change the timeline, and this is going to be a different timeline, which, to be honest, I kind of wish they would at this point, so I would feel like there are some stakes in the episode.
I mean, like when Discovery jumped to 32nd century, it took away any of that sort of, like, no one's safe anymore.
Exactly, which you kind of need if you're going to have episodes like this. If you're going to have Mbenga, like that, again, like I said, the set piece of that I loved. I loved Mbenga stuck in this table, freezing to death. I know that sounds really weird to say, but the emotional and the way that it was done was really cool. But in the back of my head, I'm thinking, well, he's going to be fine, which takes away how impactful this whole scene is. There's a part of you that thinks Star Trek has done this kind of thing a lot, and like if the episode is enjoyable enough without that, if you can ignore that and you still have a fun time, that's fine. But I think it sort of hinged so much on those elements that it didn't particularly work for me, which was a shame. I also I was thinking when I was watching this episode, do you remember when Worf almost died from a barrel being fallen on him? And now you can be split in half and it's just fine. Like they've really, I've talked about it a lot in Strange New Worlds, like someone loses a hand, don't worry, we'll give your hand back. Like they've really made it so any type of injury loses all its stakes, because don't worry if you get cut in half and freeze to death, we'll sort you out. Like, I know Star Trek has always had the magical let me spray this into your thing and you'll be fine thing, but like I think they're going too overboard with what could happen.
I get what you mean. Like Star Trek has always had miracle saves, you're right, but we're kind of getting a lot of them close together.
Yes.
Like, DS9, Nog's leg meant something. Like, yes, he had a replacement leg, the next week, but it meant something.
Yes.
And yeah, the whole episode, Worf and the Barrel. It sounds like such a derogatory, Worf and the Barrel. And actually, it's one of the best episodes on ethics. It's called Ethics. Like it's not like Strange New Worlds hasn't done interesting stuff with it, but yeah, I think when it's a lot so close together, it starts to feel a bit like,
like you have, especially in this episode, you have Mbenga cut in half basically and frozen, and then you have Spock radiated to the point his face starts melting, he's throwing up blood, and you have Una's bone come out of her leg, which I thought of Ellie when I saw that. I was like,
and Chapel's finger just breaking off.
And, which I felt like I'm actually kind of nerd when I saw that, because I was like, frostbite, I don't know if her skin would definitely come off if it got stuck to it, like the tip of her skin. I don't think the finger would just come off. Frostbite
this
normally
is space frostbite,
Yeah, but it needs to go like fully black, and then normally it can fall anyway. It doesn't matter. That's just me being a dweeb when I saw that. But yes, all of that stuff in one go. That it's starting to feel like it just doesn't matter. Like, are we getting Una's leg come out of her owner's bone come out of her leg for shock value, to try and make it feel like this is a big deal of what she's doing, but it doesn't feel like it. So those are the sort of main issues I have, where I was like, this is a fine episode, but there's certain elements to the story that I'm like, it's not giving me much. I do want to just say, so I was watching this and I was like, okay, It's, it's like disaster episode. I mean, it's no disaster, but it's like that kind of episode. It's the Poseidon Adventure. It's the Titanic. It's those kind of movies if we're doing the movies again. But I had another thought that you guys may have thought as well. It's not just doing movies this week. It's doing TV. And I was watching it going, why are we doing the split screen? I don't understand the point of the split screen. It's kind of, a split screen is always a very daring thing to do anyway. Normally it doesn't work for me anyway. And then I realized they've got the countdown. They've got the split screen. They're doing 24.
So I haven't watched 24, but that's really interesting.
That's 24 is all about, everything's about set in 24 hours. They always bring up the countdown number. They have the split screen to keep to tell you this is always happening at the same time, so there's tension. It was very 24. Why they decided to do 24 and the Poseidon Adventure, I don't know, but I think that's what they were doing.
That's really interesting. Yeah, because I'm aware of 24, but I've never actually watched it. So, I mean, I kind of went, for me, the clock, it neither added nor took anything away from the episode.
It's basically telling you how long was left of the episode.
Kinda. Yeah. And then, we go past the threshold anyway. So, whereas I do like it. I like stuff in real time. Some of the best episodes of television I watch have been there are 40 minutes left in the episodes. There's 40 minutes to save everything. I do like that. You'd think then I would have watched 24, wouldn't you?
I've got a TV show for you, sure.
Ooh, yeah, cool. So yeah, all right, that's really interesting. Okay, so 24 fans, I hope you had a great week.
Yeah.
I wonder if they did do this on purpose. Surely they did this on purpose.
I would imagine so.
Yeah, I mean,
there's
too many coincidences for them not to have basically looked at this season and gone, let's take influence each week.
The season overall. Oh, definitely. This is
yeah.
But yeah, Ellie.
Yes. I really liked this episode. This is my favourite episode of the season so far. Definitely. I had a lot of similar thoughts to you, Tom. But I think where it took some of your enjoyment away, there were a few moments where I was like, that's questionable, but I still really enjoyed it. It's the first episode I haven't needed to just look at my phone at any point during the episode because I've lost interest. Mm-hmm. I was engaged. I was interested in what was going on. A lot of similar thoughts. I think Martin Quinn he's a standout performer in every episode we've had so far.
Yes.
He's brilliant. I also found every week I've kind of commented on a lack of Chapel and Mbenga. And I feel like this episode, not only did we have lots of Chapel and Mbenga, but I feel like it was an episode that really used its ensemble cast well. We spent enough time with each character as opposed to other episodes where I've gone, well, we had one scene with Chapel in it. Whereas this episode, every character was in it and they had something of importance to do at some point, even Pelia. And it's interesting because I did note, like you, Tom, that I was like, this is the first time I feel like it was fleeting, but we had some actual serious, grounded kind of dialogue and moments with Pelia, which she was still her crazy self, but there was some actual emotional moments there rather than her just being loopy, which I really liked. And I think her and Martin Quinn bounce off of each other very well. So I really liked that. I liked that we got to see Ortegas in a command position for a change. Yeah. It didn't last the entire episode. Obviously, without Pike, if Pike hadn't come back, then Pike maybe wouldn't have been used very well in this episode, and that wouldn't have been a good sharing of the ensemble. But it was nice to see Ortegas put in that position because she doesn't often get much to do. She flies the ship. We don't get much more from her, so it was nice to see her in that situation. There were a few moments where there were the quips still, but I kind of didn't mind it because she was still serious and focused in the moments where it was important, but also I think that humour probably helps in those sorts of situations, like a good balance of both. So I really enjoyed that. But like you, Tom, I did make note of the fact that the Mbenga stuff was great, but I know that he's going to be in the original series, so I knew he was going to be okay, and the same with Spock. So I think that was probably my biggest qualm with the episode, is that they do have characters that they could have put in those situations that we don't know the fates of. And they could have put La'an in that situation instead of Spock. And they could have had a different character in sickbay, Una, Ortegas in sickbay at that moment and it not being Mbenga that was the one trapped.
Yeah.
Having said that, I do like, it felt very Star Trek for me in as much as you had Chapel in that kind of, that predicament. Boyce is telling her, this is what you should do, this is what the rules say you should do. And Chapel then being in that moral dilemma of, what do I do, and going against it and trying to fight that. And that felt very classic Star Trek to me. That felt like we were going back to, here's the purpose of these episodes, and it's not just to have silly goose time as puppets. There's a substance to the episode. There's a reason for this, and I enjoyed that a lot. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else. Oh, the gore. I didn't like the gore in episode 2. I didn't like the gore in this episode, but I felt like there was more. It was more impactful. Like, they used it sparingly, but in the moments they did use it, it was to really highlight the danger of the situations they were in. It wasn't there for shock value like it was in the horror episode. The whole point of it was to be gory and horrific, and that was kind of the theme of that episode. In this one, it only really happened to show you the severity of the moments they were in. You know, Una's leg snapping was a really good kind of representation of what it was they were experiencing, rather than them all just kind of crushing themselves to the floor. This is how dangerous it is for her to be crossing this room. Look what it's doing to her body. Look what could happen to everybody's body. Everybody's body. That's fun. You know, like Chapel's finger, what she's sacrificing, what she's putting herself through in order to save her friend. You know, she's not just standing there in a cold room. She could, you know, she's damaging herself in order to save somebody else. So although it was gross, and I was like, ugh, I got why it was there this time, rather than just for shock value. There was a reason for it. It was meaningful. And of course, Nami Malimad just delivering with some more fantastic music. I think it really elevated this episode. I mean, it elevates every episode, but I think when you're in the high stakes dramatic situations, the music can really help push it further. I think, looking at my notes,
I do want to say this is the first time I've noticed the music in this show, because normally it just slips by me for some reason in Strange New Worlds, but this episode I was like, ooh, there's some lovely music going on.
Yeah, brilliant music. The only other thing I have written down in my notes is that I thought it was funny that Scotty thought the reason that the lifts wouldn't recognise his voice was because of his accent. And that made me laugh when he was like, oh, it's not my accent again, and he had to do like a typical American accent.
Tell me you've seen the sketch. Scottish Elevator.
Have not.
No.
Yeah, Tom, you live online. So yeah, there was a very famous, very funny sketch from about 15 years ago where two Scottish lads get into a voice-operated elevator, and by the end of it, they're full William Wallace with how angry they are. The elevator will not recognise what they're trying to say.
Okay, yeah.
So
it's similar to the Miranda one where she's trying to say Tuesday on the automated phone, and they don't recognise her.
Gotcha.
Right? Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, that was really good. Also, the first thing I have to say is, you are both children people. Neither of you mentioned Dr. Boyce.
I just said Boyce.
You did not say Boyce.
I said Boyce put Chapel in a situation and told her not to do it and leave. I mentioned Boyce. Thank you very much.
Does not count as mentioning Boyce, the OG Doctor in Star Trek. Finally,
I know who he is.
It's literally mentioned though, actually. So
I did mention his name actually, but I don't feel like he added anything else to the story other than just being there as an Easter egg.
And Ellie. Did you recognise Boyce?
Should I have recognised Boyce?
You should have recognised what you of the three of us should have recognised.
Was he in Doctor Who?
No.
Okay.
He's been in
Was
Star
he in
Trek
Voyager?
several times. He was in a very important episode of Voyager where he played two characters in the same episode. He was Crewman Durst, and he was Sulan the Vidian who stole his face.
Oh, I mean, come on.
Durst.
If he was a Vidian, how was I going to recognise him?
Where's his face?
That's still not recognisable. It's something out of a horror film.
You go back and watch that episode again. Yes,
yeah.
Brian Markinson, he's played a few characters. He was in Homeward, the episode of TNG with Worf's brother. He was one of the Barallans. He is Dr. Geiger in DS9 in the cards, the one Jake and Nog are trying to get the Willie Mays baseball card from him to cheer up, and it's actually a lovely episode of season 5. He has the cellular entertainment chamber, and he ends up putting Wayoon in it. It's quite a funny episode. But yes, Brian Markinson, he's in like loads of stuff. So it was funny, but now saying that, it's not like I recognized him straight away. I went, that is Brian Markinson, the actor who has been in the following. I'm like, I know you from places, sir.
Well, I think maybe I did look at him and think he looks kind of vaguely familiar, but I do that with a lot of things, and it could have been in many things that I've seen.
I'll tell you what happened with... Well, first I just want to say that Faces is one of my favourite Voyager episodes, so I'm annoyed that I didn't recognize... Because now I'm looking at him, I'm like, that is so clearly him, but I did not. But... Because for some reason, the way he was shot in this episode, and the way that it was like, it's Boyce, everybody, it's Boyce. Look who it is. Look at this actor. I kind of like, despite the show, was like, I'm not looking it up. Leave me alone. Stop trying to get me to look up every starring character in this show.
Well, like I said, Boyce was there, and I know who Boyce is, but it didn't feel like there was any reason. Yeah, what was the point?
There was, and in fairness, that is fair.
Now, if it had been McCoy... And we're setting up Mbenga leaving.
It wasn't, but I will. So I go into it a bit in the upstand, so I'm not going to go into it too much here, but it's great to see Boyce, and I understand why they've put Boyce in Strange New Worlds, but there then becomes a problem that between Boyce and McCoy, there was Piper. Piper is the doctor in Where No Man Has Gone Before. So bringing back Boyce makes a little bit less sense. Even as much fun of, yes, he was the doctor in 2254 during the events of The Cage. And then there's like conflicting reports behind the scenes of Gene always wanted DeForest Kelly, but it didn't work out until eventually the Man Trap. So yeah, it was a fun Easter egg, and I was like, yes, great, Boyce, I get it. But it then creates a problem with, okay, I don't think they're not going to do Piper. It would be, or he will get a name drop or something. No, in fairness, but also you're kind of like, Sean, why do you care? Because Piper has exactly the same amount of episodes as Boyce does, except Boyce now has this extra episode.
Right. I have something else, but I can wait if you want.
I'll just fly through it quickly because, overall, I really enjoyed this episode. It has my favourite Pelia scene that we've got so far. I thought that scene between her and Scotty was brilliant.
Yeah.
And the bait and switch, she's not in the opening credits, she's in the closing credits this week. So I think there was a couple of things in this episode where I think they went, we know the audience is going to think something like, oh, Pelly is off again. But the other one is La'an literally says, I should have been the one to go, I'm more expendable than Spock. And I went, I think that was a line added for the us of the audience who were like, well, we know Spock's going to be fine.
Yeah, they should have been La'an. That would have made it more
concerning. And have Spock go and save her.
I mean, to be fair, we probably all still will have gone, we've still got another half a season and another season to go, so they're probably going to be okay. But there would have been a little bit more doubt than the characters we know for sure are going to make it, because we've seen them in the future.
The other one was... There was big, massive, more than homage to the episode Court Martial from the original series, which is when Kirk is put on trial for allegedly jettisoning the ion pod with somebody inside it without going to Red Alert. It's a great episode. It's definitely worth a rewatch. And there is a moment where the camera zooms in on Pike going, I have gone to Red Alert. That should give Spock enough warning. Well, that's the whole argument of Court Martial, is that they argue Kirk didn't put the ship to Red Alert. Right. So I enjoyed that. And also, this ion pod sounds like a wonderful thing, but also, why is it on board your ship if it's that dangerous? This is now 2 episodes. But yeah, overall, I'm starting to wonder, it goes a bit to what you were saying as well, Tom, about, the kind of the stakes of injuries. How many times has Spock been irradiated? And how could they not help Pike? Do you know what I mean? Is it just the fact that Spock is a Vulcan and therefore would have a stronger constitution? But whereas Pike then was exposed to delta rays and he's, disabled for the rest of his life until they bring him back to Talos 4. So things like that sort of add into the pile of, hang on, what are there rules in this universe? And then I was a bit like you, Ellie. I was okay with the gore in this week because it served a purpose.
Yes.
And like, I don't mind horror, so I didn't like. I was fine with the Griffin incident, but this, it kind of felt more part of the plot.
Yeah.
There was some sort of clunkers like, I hope I'm stronger than a piano.
Yeah, there were a few moments where I was like, oh, corny. Or like it was like, we need this character to say a line at this point. Like there was a moment where they were kind of giving out orders in the port galley, and then Laan goes, like, everyone this way, or something like that. And it was like, but they just heard Una tell you to do that, so you don't need to then reiterate that. It's just that corny lines.
And there was a couple of moments as well of, so it's when Laan and Spock get back, and Boyce says, unless you want a serious case of frostbite, I suggest you move away from the... Move.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like, it's a serious situation, just give the order. I think there was also a moment where Ortega said something, and Pike was just like, just do it. And I was like, yeah, just get to the point.
yeah. And there was one actually where I went, Tom will pick up on this one. And love Scotty, love Martin Quinn. It's, we need to fashion something so that we can drink up a neutrino smoothie. And I went, I wonder what Tom's going to think of that one.
Yeah, I remember here. I mean, I've lost it with the show. I'm not even picking up these things that you guys are saying because I've been doing it for 3 years now, 3-4 years. I'm just like, yeah, they're going to say crap that is stupid. And that's what it is.
Someone said something about going cuckoo bananas or something. And I was like, I think it was Chapel. And I was like,
Yeah.
It was, I mean, but like, having said that, like, it was a disaster movie. That's exactly what it was. And there are, like, I think of disaster movies like Independence Day, 2012, all that kind of stuff, Day After Tomorrow, where you do get these corny one-liners tend to be hand in hand with disaster films. And I kind of enjoy them in that respect. It's still like, you probably killed 2 people by not telling them just to move.
Yeah.
But
I do think the 3 films you just named are all directed by the same person.
All Roland Emmerich, I think. Right?
Yeah, and those are cheesy.
They're so cheesy. But like, I had a good time this week. I thought completely lacking of any kind of stakes, but still enjoyed. All the reasons you've said. Spock's going to be fine. Pike's going to be fine, at least to a certain point. M'Benga's going to be fine. I guess the big takeaway is this now the beginning of M'Benga at least stepping down as CMO? So now, if is Boyce going to be stationed aboard the ship going forward? And if so, is Boyce's middle name Piper? Which actually, in fairness, would probably not be that hard of a way to rewrite that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh no, 2 actors played by different characters, or a different actor, or 2 characters played by different actors. It's almost like Star Trek's done that before,
It did.
But yeah, no, I had a good time.
It did seem that this episode was we need to really start putting these things into place, everyone. What I was going to say earlier was I found the Chapel thing confusing because it ends with her being like, I want a full-time placement here. And I thought, but a character that is only sometimes in the original series, surely it makes sense that she doesn't have a full-time placement because then she will only sometimes be on the ship. Do you know what I mean?
I get what you mean.
Like for the story of the episode, sure, but for Star Trek in general, I thought that's why she wasn't having a full-time placement there. But whatever. I've got some hot takes. Some people are not going to like this. One is something I've talked about before, which is I've forgotten her name. Melissa Navia's character.
Ortegas,
the whole I fly the ship stuff. I also get quite frustrated with constantly everyone being like, you are the best pilot in the universe. You are the best pilot in the universe. Show us. Don't tell us. That we hardly ever get to see her being the best pilot. We get to see her pilot stuff sometimes, but like, what makes her a better pilot than any other pilot we've seen?
Do you know what I felt? I felt that with, this is probably going to get me some heat, Sydney LaForge in season 3. We kept being told how amazing she was, and hey, she was great. But like that scene in the Borg cube where you'd have to be amazing. No one, not even my daughter, could do that.
Yeah,
Ada probably could.
Yeah, it's just weird. Like it just, you're trying to give a certain accolade or character to a character, and you haven't got it. It just show us.
Yeah.
But my main hot take that everyone probably won't like me for is I don't like Una. I've never liked Una in this show. I don't like Una in the show. I think she's getting worse. I think she just does quippy, sarcastic lines, and there's nothing else much to her character. Now, obviously, they gave her the one bit in earlier when she has augmented DNA and blah blah blah, but that lasted for basically an episode and then didn't matter afterwards. So I don't get what everyone else gets from Una.
Yeah, I know. I actually do see what you mean. I feel like she started off great and it was like fantastic. We're finally going to get to explore number one in more detail than what she was given originally. And we started off with that, but it feels a little bit like now they don't know what to do with her. And I feel like because she is a character that isn't in the original series, there could be a really interesting story going on with her that can explain why we don't see her later on. But it does feel like she's not used very much in episodes. Obviously, we did have her story. She had a doppelganger or whatever. But that doesn't have any consequence, or there could be a story. I think it's just the potential for her. We have a handful of characters that we know nothing about in the future. And so we could be really diving deep into those characters because they are the ones with the potential to write new stories for that aren't going to contradict the future of the show as we know it. And I feel like they are the characters that aren't being given much attention. Ortegas, Una, La'an. La'an's been given a lot of attention, I'll give her that. But Una and Ortegas, I feel like there's so much potential for those characters, and they're the ones that don't seem to be given anything of substance to actually explore. I do see what you mean.
Mind melds. So, here's my 2 cents on the mind meld. It was always Spock. Just the my mind to your mind. That's a focusing technique. He couldn't speak. She just helped him focus.
Right.
That was my takeaway from that. It wasn't like she was mind melding with him. It's not like it was a synth who taught themselves how to do the Vulcan mind look, I didn't say Picard was a perfect series, okay? But so that was I was kind of like, yeah, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with the use of the mind meld as well. Yes, we have seconds, we need this information, we're working off Spock's memory. Just realized I probably should have put something else into the sedation observations. Well, sure, listen.
What if I think it'd be good if they mind melded and then La'an threw up green blood.
Let's go to the scores. So, Tom, you went first. Out of 3, what would you give this episode?
I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
And yes, it's the same score I gave the puppet episode. But unlike you guys, I have a heart. I get to do the jokes this time. It's me.
I feel like the status quo has kind of leveled out again. We're back to normal.
Yeah, we are back to normal. Yeah, I thought it was the last episode was a stupid episode that made me laugh. This episode was a decent episode with a lot of caveats that took away a lot of my enjoyment. So kind of levels out. 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. Ellie.
I'm very torn on this one because we do still have another 4 episodes to go.
I'll go with how you feel, darling.
How I feel, yeah. I'm going to go with an 8.9.
Wow. I take it back. Don't go how you feel.
No, but I honestly, when I watched this episode for the first time, I was like, yeah, this one was by far the best one. This is it. Having rewatched it and then picking things. That's the trouble, obviously. The nature of these is that we look at it to pick things. So then I almost ruin it for myself. But I really enjoyed it. Then I kind of got to well, actually, Mbenga's going to be fine. And that maybe just took a little bit out of it for me. But overall, I feel like of the series, of this season, I've enjoyed this one the most by far. So I think it deserves a high score.
Okay. I'm going to go with a 7. I had a great time. I enjoyed it. There's a few bits that knocked it back down again. We've gone into detail on all of them, so I shan't belabor it again here. But I had a good time this week.
Can I make a bold assumption and tell me if I'm wrong? Do you think for the both of you, because you disliked the episode so much before, that there's a level of just a breath of fresh air for you with this episode that you were like, oh, I'm just happy to be here?
Yes. Yeah, maybe a little bit.
For me, I would say it's a fair question. I don't think so. I genuinely, like, I had a good time with this week, but yes, I can see it now. Like, you know, oh, he just hated last week so much that this week couldn't be worse.
I don't think that I've given this one a high score because I hated last week so much, but I'm glad that we didn't have another episode like last week's again, because then I would have just been disappointed. But I mean, I think this episode could have been anywhere in the season, and I would have been like, this was the best one.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying. I'm definitely not saying that I think you guys liked it because of that. I'm just wondering, like if, say, we had like episode, I don't know, 3 after the last episode.
Gotcha. After the last episode. No, I mean, even...
No, it wouldn't have got as high a score. It would have definitely had a higher score, but it wouldn't have had as high a score. No.
Like, it wouldn't have been...
that's a good point.
It wouldn't have been like, oh, thank God this is the kind of episode we're watching right now.
No, I probably would have still thought it was quite silly.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a good time with episode 3, but...
What do we think the next movie it's going to be? I'm going to guess Godzilla. I think there's going to be a big Godzilla walking along the station.
I'm going to say Gaspar Noé's climax. Tom,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Here.
I don't know what you're talking
Ellie,
about.
I'm not going to lie. Not surprised you've not seen it. It is not an adult film, just to be clear about that. In fact, it stars... it stars a Trek alum.
If you just called it Climax, I would have known what you were talking about.
Gotcha.
Yes.
It is a very good film.
I hope it is not that.
It's not.
I think it's going to be Scooby-Doo.
See, I'd watch the heck out of that, though.
So would I.
Hold on.
Oh, it does have a alumni. We've still got a dragon to come, everybody. I'm still waiting for my dragon.
Oh, yeah!
Yeah.
Dragon.
And we have Captain Kirk to come as well.
Oh, yeah. Oh, see, there's still so much to come. I'm excited.
Woo! Okay, so, right, everyone, thank you so much. Ellie, Tom, you're awesome. Thank you so much for this. I hope everyone enjoyed this. Everyone, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you got your notifications switched on. Please make sure that you're following us on the various socials. We're at TrekCulture, at TrekCulture YT on Instagram. All of our personal socials are there as well. You are awesome. You're wonderful. Thank you for following along. Thank you for sticking with us. I know a few people were somewhat surprised by the role reversals last week. So thanks to everyone for sticking with us again this week. You're brilliant, and we shall talk to you soon. Live long and prosper.